The fit introverted man has the ultimate sex appeal. And when I say introverted, I'm not talking about the guy that is awkwardly quiet. I'm not talking about that creepy, quiet guy, right? I'm not talking about the guy who lives in the basement, that is looking at questionable websites that might land him on an FBI list. Because some people, when they think introverted, they automatically jump to the guy who's awkward and has zero social skills. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say introverted, I mean cool and laid back, because most guys out here, especially when they get around women, and let me just preface this real quick about extroverts, they have their own pocket too. Am I saying that they don't get chicks? No, of course not. Of course, there's guys out there that are outgoing, that command attention and all that good stuff, that get women, all right? I'm not saying that whatsoever, but what I am saying is most guys are extremely performative. They start putting on this whole act, this whole comedy act, this Kevin Hart act when they get around women, and they don't let the silence build up. They're not laid back. They're more on a noisy, louder, aggressive side. So being fit and introverted, and a lot of guys though are chopped and extroverted, or chopped and noisy. They make a lot of fucking noise, especially when there's a chick around. I know you guys have dealt with this before. I know you guys have been with a guy, a quote unquote friend or whatever the hell, and you guys will have a normal conversation. As soon as a chick comes around, this guy starts acting like Kevin Hart. He starts acting like a comedian. He starts putting on a circus show. And you're like, where the hell did this come from? We were just having a regular conversation. Now this guy is doing acrobatics in front of this broad. And it's obvious, like, okay, I see why he changed up. They might even start making fun of you to, you know, like, let me know if you guys had this before. If you were hanging out with a guy and a chick comes around, now all of a sudden they start taking jabs at you and they start making all these jokes about you. They're like, what the hell? You know, that's just being performative. That's them trying to be rambunctious and outgoing, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But the guy that's introverted, laid back, and he's fit, he's going to have the most amount of sex appeal. This is Tarik Talks. If you guys would like one-on-one coaching, click the link in the description. So the guy that's laid back, that's more introverted, he is going to have sex appeal because the way he operates, and this is natural, okay? I'm not telling, some guys might think that I'm telling them to put on this whole introverted, you know, front. If you're not introverted, this, you know, you don't have to listen to this video, okay? Me personally, I'm more on I tend to stay to myself. And it's very ironic, it's very paradoxical, because I have a YouTube channel and I'm talking to thousands of strangers. So I can see where someone would be like, how the hell are you introverted and you make YouTube videos yapping? Yes, if you see me out and about, either I'm by myself or I'm with my family, right? But the thing with introverted guys is that they're more laid back and they give the woman a chance to come to them. Does that make sense? So while the guy that feels like he has to do all of these performative, rambunctious, kind of loud, trying to make fun of people, trying to be impressive, he's doing all that crap, which is what the usual guy, I would say on average, that's the average man's tactic or game plan, or whatever you want to call, or his game, is to be extremely talkative and you know, be extremely noisy in hopes that the girl notices him. And it's obvious that that's what he's trying to do. That's what most chicks come across. And in a weird way, guys, this gives a lot of chicks the sense of she's better. Let me explain to you. If somebody is trying to impress you, right? So let's flip this around. Let's say you're with a girl, right? Let's flip this around in Bizarro land. Let's say you're with a girl, and this doesn't happen to most guys, but you know, whatever. Let's make a make-believe scenario. You're with a chick, and she's really into you. She's extremely attracted to you, and you know this. You can sense this. How can you sense this? Because she's making a billion jokes back to back. She's trying to be loud. She's trying to be all in your face. You haven't even said one or two words, and she's over here talking her ass off, and you haven't even got the chance to really say anything. And she's just talking and talking, and you could tell, like, okay, I haven't said shit to this chick, and she's over here running down her whole resume of all her interests, of all her dislikes, her favorite color, her favorite food, blah, all this shit. And you know deep down inside in your head, like, you know why she's doing that, right? And you're over here, you might not be that interested in a chick, and you're just sitting there chilling. So in your head, you know that she is trying to impress you. Vice versa. This happens this is what guys mostly do for the most part. That's why you have a whole community of verbal seduction and all that shit like that, which there's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But guys, to be quite frank, when you're fit, when you're in shape, you really don't have to do all of that for real. Now, obviously, let me get back to the point of you still need to have some sort of verbal skill. Yeah, obviously, you need to go back and forth with her. Like, let's say she gives you those quote-unquote choosing signals that are so coveted, right? If she's smiling at you, constantly looking, hey, at some point, say hi, okay? Even if you are introverted, you being laid back and low-key is what even sparked her interest in the first place. So all the guys that are surrounding her are making all these Kevin Hart stand-up comedy jokes and being loud as hell, and she sees you in the background being quiet. She's like, why is he not doing backflips? Why is he not being performative? Right? So if this is a person you see on the humble, or you see every day or whatever, she's gonna start getting curious because you already physically piqued her interest. She likes what she sees already. She's like, okay, this guy is real fit. He has a lot of sex appeal because, first of all, he's in shape. That's rare as hell. And what's even more rare, we've heard that before. Being in shape is rare. We've seen a billion videos about that. But what's even more rare is that you're cool. You're laid back. So she's going to start pressing up on you. She's going to push up on you like, what's up? Like, she's curious to find out more about you. Because, believe it or not, guys, if a chick is seeing that every other dude around her is trying to be this freaking Romeo or Casanova and just talk while they're around them, by you just being low key, which, like I said, to some guys it just comes naturally, she's gonna be like, okay, what's wrong? What's up with this guy? You know, I feel like he might be a little better than me. And that's the thing. I know that kind of sounded arrogant, or that kind of sounded fucked up to say, but let's dissect this real quick. What are most girls taught, right? What are most girls taught? They're taught that when a guy is with them on their first date or what have you, the guy's supposed to do this. The guy's supposed to take her out. The guy's supposed to pay for the dinner. The guy's supposed to be charming, handsome. The guy's supposed to freaking take her out on a trip, bend his on a knee, and roll out a red carpet for his highness. That's what they're all taught. And I'm not even trying to be funny or facetious, but that's really what they're taught. So by you being low key, they're like, okay, why is he doing that? Why is he not kissing my ass? And this is what they're gonna subconsciously think. They're gonna be like, why is this guy not kissing my ass like every other guy? That's because, first of all, you built up the physique that you can actually be proud of. That's number one. Number two, building up a physique gives you that confidence. Like, yeah, she looked good, but what is she gonna do for me, right? What do I get out of it? Is she even good for me? That's what having a fit physique, the kind of confidence that it gives you. It gives you that earned confidence. It gives you that Hey, hell, you could even say cockiness, right? Like, hey, yeah, she looks good. She looks pretty decent. But hey, look, a lot of chicks pay me attention, right? So what's her deal? What's her story? I'm gonna lay back and I'm gonna let her prove herself, quote unquote, because no woman is gonna admit this, right? What I'm gonna say, no woman is going to admit this, but they want to feel like the man is bigger than them, not just on a physical level, but also on a social level, right? On a strength level, obviously. We all know that on a strength level, and on a social level. So they want to feel like you are a man that has shit going on. You are a man that has social power and that has that social discipline. That's masculinity in a nutshell. Because masculinity isn't about beating your chest and trying to prove how tough you are and walking around like you're all tough and all that bullshit. That's not masculinity. That's putting on a show. That's another form of putting on an act. Masculinity is just basically being chill, being laid back, and being aggressive when you absolutely need to. But for the most part, just laying back. We've all had that cool uncle that's laid back as hell that we can all relate to. And that's what masculinity is. It's kind of like you are letting her do what she's designed to do, which is seek validation, right? All these red pill channels talk about women seek validation this and women seek validation that, and that's what you are letting her do. You're letting her seek validation by her talking about herself, running down her resume, so to speak. And with you being sexually attractive, she's gonna want to do that if she sees that you can hold the most simplest of conversations. And she's gonna be like, okay, you know what? This guy has been laid back this whole time. He hasn't been tripping. He hasn't been tripping about me and my beauty. And that's the thing when you get down to the crux of it. That's the thing. You're not really so enamored by her beauty. Yes, you might look at her and be like, she's very gorgeous. She's a very beautiful chick. And that's what would make it even more powerful. If the girl is extremely beautiful, if she's extremely attractive, and you come in being laid back, that's gonna make her even more turned on. Because usually when men see a girl that's very attractive, they just start falling all over themselves. They start gawking at her and like a dog in heat. You know how cartoons when like Bugs Bunny or those old Tex Avery cartoons, you guys don't even know that. It shows the cartoon character being thirsty as hell. Like if a female dog, because it'll be like a dog character. If a female dog walks by, the male dog, like his jaw drops all the way to the floor and his eyes pop out. That's really what in real life, that's really how it goes. That's really how it goes in real life. A lot of guys start acting like that in real life. They don't know how the hell to act. So by you just letting her talk, and she's gonna realize this at some point. She's gonna be like, you know what? I've been talking a whole bunch, and I feel like I'm the one trying to prove myself. This is what they're gonna think subconsciously. They're gonna be like, man, I'm over here talking a lot. This is weird. This isn't normal. First of all, him being in shape and being sexually attractive is not normal, because most guys I get with have fucked up dad bods. And second, he's cool. He's masculine. And most guys that I get with are not only chopped and dad bodded up, but they talk too goddamn much. They talk. What most guys do is when they first get on a date or whatever you want to call it, or when they're with a chick, they run down their whole life story within like 15 minutes, right? And I've seen this as a man. I'll be talking to a dude, like, a homeboy or not a homeboy. I'm not even gonna say homeboy, like an acquaintance or somebody I kind of know, and they'll run down their whole life story within like 15-30 minutes. I'm like, dude, I should not have known about all the marital problems and financial problems and how, you know, you got caught cheating on your girl with a prostitute, and now she's filing for half, and like all of this, like telling the whole life story within 15 minutes. And I'm thinking in my head, I can just imagine how he is with chicks, right? A lot of guys, they talk about when they first get with a chick, or the first couple of times, they're gonna start blabbing about their whole life problems and man, they don't want to hear about that shit. That shit is a buzzkill, you know. But the laid back guy, he unfolds his story slowly, because trust and believe, if she finds you sexually attractive, she's gonna start asking you questions about yourself. See, now you're in a power position. She's gonna start asking you questions about yourself, like, so what do you like to do? I told you everything about me. What do you like to do? She's gonna be intrigued. Okay. Anyway, I hope this video helped. Peace.